Raphael, thank you so much for a super chat as well. He says, coming up on 4 years with my TRD, it has barely depreciated. When will electric cars get past the lease only or lose your shirt phase? I think that'll most likely be, in the second or third gen kind of EV stuff, kind of like what I was mentioning earlier. Whenever this stuff quits being so limited with its niche and its market, whenever we're talking about 600-mile EVs that's, recharge in 10 minutes or less, I think that's, going to be a lot more appealing to people. And so therefore they will have a bigger pool to pull from, as far as people who want to buy those, used, and that'll help buoy the prices of those and hold that up. So I think that's when you will see that stuff. I also think, like I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of people are on the fence about the NACS thing. I think once you start seeing used vehicles with the NACS port, or I guess maybe Tesla's potentially should illustrate this, if my theory is correct. But I think, people that are like, okay, well, I have the new port, or I have the port, I can not have to worry going forward. I'm prepared for the future, and that kind of will maybe isolate those or insulate those prices of those used vehicles as well. But obviously, I think it's going to be a while before we get to like that good of depreciation as far as Tacoma depreciation, Wrangler depreciation. The Toyotas, all that stuff is very, very slow to depreciate, and I think, especially with the way those companies do product cycles where, things last a long time, but they also don't replace them very quickly. There's a lot of other components that go into that, to make those legendary. But compared to like the average depreciation on the market, I think that we'll get pretty close here, with these second and third gen EVs. Anything after 2025, I think will hopefully hold its value slightly better. And especially, I think, as we're hearing 2026 and beyond for these new gen batteries with, 600 miles and all that stuff, I think that's when you really, 2026 is the date I would start thinking about, possibly actually buying an EV if it was something, if you didn't want to lease it for whatever reason. I think that could probably be the time to pull the trigger. Or again, like the used market right now, where you've had most of that depreciation probably be taken out already. I think that's, going to be a pretty safe buy as well. Thank you so much, Raphael, for the super chat as well.